Hey folks, Reloading Bench back with you once again. I won't say this is an unboxing because it's already been unboxed, or rather unbagged, but has not yet been opened. This is the new Hornady lock and load impact or Kinetic bullet puller, and I've had this on my wish list for a while, but it's just never been available. And this is my tried and true bright orange Lyman version of the exact same thing that I've been using for many years. And I thought I would open this up and give it a test and see how it does. This Lyman comes with 2 collets, and the Hornady comes with 3, 2 there and 1 actually installed. So it looks like I want to say that maybe between these two, I've got small and very large, whereas this looks like small, that looks like very large, so maybe I'm getting something of a medium collet that I didn't previously had. So I'll open this up, but not on camera, because if I try to open this deadly plastic, I will probably end up bleeding. This stuff is never fun to play with, so back in a few. Right off the bat, a couple things I noticed that I liked. One is the knurling. This is a rubber coating, so it's quite nice to the touch, very positive contact. And the other thing I noticed, and I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this, but this is a cushion. Looks like a spongy kind of material, and I've done that before in the past, and the reason it hasn't worked out so well is because the powder ended up getting trapped on the sides and underneath that. But we'll see how this works out. Essentially to keep from damaging like a pointed bullet, like a something for a 223, 24 caliber, 22 caliber, 224 diameter round with any type of point on it, so that or 308, anything with a point, so it doesn't get damaged. So I also noticed that as I mentioned earlier, there was a small, medium, and large, and they delineate that. If you're too oblivious to be able to see that via the holes, they call it 1 ring, 2 ring, and 3 ring. So if you look on the back, there's 1 ring, there's 2 rings, and there is 3 rings. So small, medium, and large. Small 3 ring, medium 2 ring, large 1 ring. It is smaller, or shorter, I guess is the right term. So the throats are about the same-ish, maybe a little smaller. And there's a difference of about an inch in overall size of the chamber area. So I'll prep things up and we'll compare 245 pulls. I'll start with tried and true, and one of the ways I like to pull with a Kinetic puller is put a little sponge on my work area so that when I take my collet, it is extremely easy to feed the bullet. So just by pushing in, I found that if I try that on a flat surface with the way the collet works in the ring, it doesn't cooperate so nicely. So pop that in. I've taped over this years ago simply to keep powder from escaping, and normally it's a 1 or 2 whack. That's a single whack. Plastic is held up well. Make sure all the powder stays in. So that worked out nice. And powder comes clean with a tap. So that was the tried and true Lyman. Let me go ahead and put the powder back in here, because this will be reusable. And I forget who makes this little wonderful powder funnel that fits just about everything that I load. So we're good there. Set this aside for later. And we are done with the Lyman. Call that a success. And bullet number 2. Same thing. It's a little tighter fit. We are christening this bad boy. And as you can see, not a mar on it, so this is a virgin pull. Side and tape, we're good. I'm going to pretend it's the Lyman, and I'm going to see if this will do it in one hit. And it did. And as you can see, because this is new plastic, and I didn't even think about that, like coating it with any type of either excess old powder that I keep in here, or some graphite, I now have a ton of powder everywhere. So let's, and no damage. So I'm going to tap this out just so that I can get the powder. As you can see, it's a little better, but Murphy's Law, should have maybe coated it with some powder. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of powder in here, as you can see. And there's still a ton of powder in there. So yeah, verdict, works fine, but because it's new and the plastic still probably has a little bit of factory whatever, I will put some powder in there, cap that off, and essentially coat it so that it's a little better, because there is not enough powder in here to put back into this bullet. And reload it yet. I will have to bust out some extra powder. A little static electricity today. Okay, so success on bullet pull and fail on realizing that because this is brand new, the material is not going to be, I mean, you can see the coating over the years on this with powder, just so only time will help that, and maybe a little throwaway powder. So I say success, but it's a new tool and it needs to get broken in. Take care. What I should have done before I even did any pulls was dump some powder in here, some surplus scrap powder, and cover the hole, cut out a little piece of cardboard, and essentially just shook it around to lubricate this. And now what you'll see is none of the powder gets caught. In fact, it all goes down. So let me dump this powder and you'll see. Oops. So very clean, or comparable to what I would get out of this currently. So I would say that lubricating, unless you were worrying about that powder the first time, would be a good idea. I think I'm going to keep this cap in here because I like the idea of me personally, and everybody has their own thing, because other folks may say, well, if a primer goes off, you want it to explode out. Maybe I'll keep it, maybe I won't. Never had an issue with the tape. And then what I did want to draw attention to was this has worked well. There's no negatives on this, but different feel. I've had this work loose and had to tighten it and glue it back in, but this actually feels better in the hand. It's a little more contoured, a little more solid. It's a rubber grip versus an older plasticky kind of grip, and it does have a nice feel, and it's kind of a solid feel with a similar rubber coating all the way up, as opposed to metal and plastic rubber. So kind of liking it, and now that it is lubricated, won't have any issues with powder accumulating. And I did not notice or find any powder getting stuck around this little spongy thing. So good stuff. Nice job, Hornady.